I'm Chris Sauls, and this is Thinking Thursday, a podcast for engineers, coders, sysadmins, architects, and tech leaders who build the backbone of the modern world. This is for those who think in systems, dream in frameworks, and lead with curiosity. We don't just adapt to disruption, we anticipate it. We architect the future, even when the rest of the world doesn't understand what we're building. We're the ones who stay up late refactoring the solution because good enough never sits right. We are allergic to mediocrity, restless with routine, and wired for iteration, impact, and innovation. We aren't just surviving the AI wave, we're riding it, reimagining our careers, rewriting our companies, and re-engineering what leadership looks like in the world of layoffs, lean teams, and limitless change. Sure, we've been burned by broken systems, bad bosses, and bureaucracy masquerading as process, but we don't stop because we know something others don't. Every problem is solvable. Every system can scale. Every setback is a signal. While most are stuck obeying outdated org charts and titles, we lead from anywhere from the code base, from the cloud, from the crisis. We are the self-leading, systems thinking, impact-driven architects of what's coming next. And we don't wait for permission. We build it anyway. This is Thinking Thursday for the tech minds who lead with heart, grow through change, and never stop thinking. Hey, welcome to Thinking Thursday with your host, Chris Sauls. This is episode 10. Man, it is an exciting day. This is a day where I am going to talk about one of my favorite topics, one of the things that I have loved, automation and career options. I am telling you now that in my career, there has never been a skill that I have learned that was any more valuable than what I learned about automation. It's just one of the things that has carried my career forward. Guys, right now we are halfway through 2025, a little over halfway through. And I've been, watching the market, listening to people, listening to different recruiters, different people out there in the marketplace, discuss the ideas that, a lot of people have gone through layoff. There have been a lot of tech roles that have changed. I say changed. I hear people say eliminated. The roles may have been eliminated, but they've been moved around. The market's shifting. We are in one of the biggest upskill periods of time that I have seen. There's also things that are going on in the world today. I don't know if many people know this. 65,000 65-year-olds are retiring every day right now. Think about that in the United States, 65,000 retirees every day. That's a lot. That's where we get into these baby boomers and things where they're retiring. And now, it's nothing against the boomers. Hey, you've done your part. I would say that, we need to pick it up. There's not enough people for all the roles anymore. A lot of this AI automation that people are talking about, hey, it might be needed. AI and automation may be needed in the workplace because there's certain things we just may not have enough people to cover certain things. Got to work on it. All right. So like I said, we're halfway through the year. I'm going to give you a few stats here on the front end. We're 182 days from the end of the year, which gives us about somewhere between 44,368 hours to 4,391 hours, depending on where you're at. Minutes, 263,460 minutes estimated. Now, I want you to think about that. Those are numbers. You have 4,000 hours, over 4,000 hours between now and December 31st. What are some things you could do? What are the things that you could do right now between now and then that would change your life, change your family's life, move you forward in a career that makes you happy or you enjoy? Because look, I'm telling you right now, if you're in a workplace, you're not going to be happy all the time, folks. It's just not going to happen. Just the way it is. There's always going to be something you don't enjoy. I mean, there's going to be things that come up. Even if you run your own business, you might not like doing taxes. You may not like having to do the financial reports. You may not might not like the idea of having to have task lists. My personality type, I absolutely despise having to write out a task list, but I know I need them and I know I have to have them because of who I am. It's what keeps me on track. It's what makes sure that I get things done. And It's a little reward system in some ways for me. It's one of those things that gives me a little bit of an edge because I know what my day is going to look like and I know the things that I can get done. Maybe I don't get them all done, but I know what the next day's priorities are. If I don't finish something today, I got to get back on it. I got to get those things done. I know what hours work for me. All right, enough around that. Just jumping straight into this automation piece. I said it's one of the greatest skills that I learned throughout my career. 3 decades in information technology, software development, software engineering, automation engineering. 3 decades, and automation was the one skill that transcended all of the roles. By learning to automate, I was efficient in every role. Some roles, I was able to literally automate my entire week to be completed by Wednesday. So by Wednesday midday, I had nothing to do Thursday and Friday. So I was able to do customizations for people that would not normally have been able to be done. And it was for a group of people that just didn't have the technology staff. They didn't have it and they weren't going to get it. And I was able to fulfill that role. Made the general manager happy, maybe not my boss so happy because I was giving free services away, something that they didn't have. My first role where automation came to play was in the automated meter reading space. That sounds funny, right? Automated meter reading. And my first opportunity to automate was actually testing the software that did automation. And in that particular role, we needed to be able to test a couple of releases back, and we needed to be able to test the current release and then our future updates. Needed to be able to do all that in the same lab. Got meters on the wall. Simple automation. I wrote an automation tool that would advance the clock on all the machines in the lab, move them all forward, update all the meter clocks forward, because the meters were reading data from the systems from their startup and from the power they were drawing. The meters were recording that. And by doing all of that, I was able to put data onto the meters. 4-man solution, no doubt. Use Norton Ghost for any of you that have been out there a long time. Imaging for other folks today. Nowadays, it would be an Azure image. That would be what you would talk about. Maybe an ARM template. Maybe Terraform is what you would say. But at that time, those tools didn't exist, and this was many years ago. Norton Ghost, some removable hard drives, and a little bit of ingenuity along the way, and I was able to test multiple releases, forwards, backwards, and over time, and reduce our testing time dramatically. Hey, it was a solution for the age that day and time. Moving forward, worked at a gaming company, and we ran into an issue where one of our gaming platforms, we had added bonus screens, and this was in casino gaming. And you know how bonus screens work. Things can happen, and it can get really, really, really crazy. And we had this bonus screen that had an error. It was about a 10 pixel square, if I remember correctly. And you had to touch that 10 pixel square. And you think about that, trying to touch it. We had a game in the field. Somebody touched that spot and it caused the machine to do something really weird. Now, no problems. We had everything covered, but now we needed to find it. Automated that within 30 days, we'd found 1,000 defects in our skins and our games based on pixel issues throughout the games. And we did it with a very simple automation tool that touched every pixel on the screen. Sound very simple. Again, not sophisticated, but very effective. And this is where automation comes to play. Now, there's also the AI component to go with it. You guys have heard me talk about AI. I have harped on that during every one of these podcasts, that if you're not learning AI right now and learning how to use it as an advantage tool for you, and I don't care what field you're in, I don't care what vertical you're in, if you're not using it, you could be running a landscaping company. If you're not using AI to help you in some way with your marketing, your management of your company, the layout of things, just using it as a sounding board, if nothing else, I think you're missing out. And I think that is for me, that's the part that's really, it's kind of a crux along the way, right? I know people think AI is coming in and taking jobs. It's not. It's just shifting roles, but it's shifting them to a higher skill set. And when I say a higher skill set, I mean a more, I don't know. I think about this. It's not more intelligent, I would say it's more, you've got to have these new skills to be able to use the thing, to be able to do it right. And it's kind of like a skilled laborer. I don't care who you are. I had someone tell me one time, can a person laying brick become a millionaire? Absolutely, they can. Absolutely, they can. They can become the subject matter expert of laying brick, and they can lay brick in ways that other people can't. You can become that person. And that's what AI is giving the advantage today. If you're a developer or you're trying to build a product, or maybe you know absolutely nothing about software development, but you have a great idea, there is no better time to build your application than today. You could impact your market just because now you have the tools where you could go and do it. And now you don't need to know how to do all of those other things. Now you're going to want to lean in on making sure you follow some prescribed patterns or frameworks because you don't want to create something that's insecure, where it's not security focused. You don't want to create something where it does bad things to your users. You also want to make sure it's valuable to your users. I spent some time over the weekend. I wrote this little small form, connected some back to a generative AI to give out a positive email based on the 3 priorities you have for today, to give you some information back that would give you kind of an action plan, some inspirational encouragement, and brighten your day a little bit. I wrote that solely because I thought, how many people do I run into that they struggle with prioritization when they are going through something? Maybe you're overwhelmed at work, you're overconsumed, you're oversubscribed, maybe you're overwhelmed at home. And I thought, how could I put something together that someone could go and put this stuff in, plug it in, and get a little plan for their day? It's not a massive plan, and it's just some encouragement and some steps to take to make your day a little more, what I would say, tolerable. And tolerance is not really where I'm at with this. Maybe make your day a little brighter. Add a little bit of structure to your day that gives you the opportunity to be able to complete your priorities. I have to do this. I've talked about this. I am a person, I do not like lists, but I need them sometimes because of my personality. I need them to keep me on track. Okay, we've jumped into all of that. So I talked about statistics, things you could do this year that you could do along the way. Right now, if you wanted to change careers and you could take 2.75 hours, you could right now, 2.75 hours every day until the end of the year, change over to an IT automation career in that role. And it does not have to be at a tech company. You could be working for anyone. Average salaries between 70 and 90K. That's on the front end. That's just getting started. So if you're a high school graduate and you're looking for that, now I know high school graduates out there right now making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year right now by knowing how to use the AIs and stuff that exist. So I don't want anybody to think that I am trying to downplay, but not everybody's that go-getter. I mean, we see these advertisements all the time about there's no guarantees that if you do this, and there's no guarantee I'm giving you. What I'm saying is you can get the skills, and I believe if you apply yourself, you take the steps that are required, build a good resume, can interview with a good amount of, I would say, confidence as well as storytelling in your interview about how you reached outcomes, how you think, how you operate, so that they can see your skills. I believe you'll do perfectly fine. And I believe it's something that can be done pretty well by the end of the year. Putting it in perspective, though, you could also learn a language well enough to speak it with 2.2 hours a day between now and the end of the year. Now, if I were to speak the language, if you spend 2.2 hours studying a language, you know another language by the end of the year. If you're in a career field, would speaking 2 languages benefit you? I think it would. I think we all should speak 2 languages. I don't. My wife does. I would love to be able to speak 2 languages. I kind of hacked my way through Portuguese, which is my wife's second language. And she actually knows a third. She knows Spanish as well. And it excites me along the way to think about knowing a second or a third language to be able to communicate with an entirely different group of people in their language, in their native language. Because English speakers, or in the United States, English speakers, we tend to want everybody to gravitate to us. I think we need to think more on that. Maybe we need to learn other languages as well. It also helps you with cognitive. In the future, they say that it actually has helped people to not, I wouldn't say overcome, but it reduces the chances of Alzheimer's and some other things along the way, using that cognitive load of knowing a second language. Got way off topic there. Remember, it's Thinking Thursday. This is just where I have random thoughts that come to me and I get on here and talk about them. Automation. If you wanted to do a career change today, no better time than I've ever seen in my career, in my time on this earth. No better time than right now to jump into some type of technology career or use the technology that's available to you, becoming efficient and proficient in generative AI. No better time than right now. Encouragement for you all. If you're going through something right now, maybe you're going through a divorce, maybe you've gone through a layoff, I'm going to put a link down at the end of this podcast. There'll be a link for you to be able to go and click that you can get what I called a self-leadership daily blueprint. That is this very small, like I said, AI-driven prioritization and inspiration tool. It'll help you prioritize a few things to get you on track for your day, give you a bit of encouragement along the way. And it's something you can use every day. It's free of charge, just something that I'm working on because I believe we all need outlets. We all need ways to maybe get our day started. I call it the self-leadership blueprint. It is not about being selfish, guys. The first person we have to lead every day, to make sure this is very clear, we have to lead ourselves. I don't care when you wake up in the morning, you have to lead yourself to make your bed, put on your clothes, shower, put on your clothes, go do the things you have to do. You have to lead yourself. And if you're not leading your day and your self-talk, your negative self-talk's leading your day, it could be a long day. So when I say self-leadership, I want to be real clear about that. I don't want anybody getting misconstrued ideas here. Just you have to lead yourself before you can lead anybody else. And if you lead yourself well, you can lead a team well. All right, there we go. Wrapping it up. This is episode 10 of Thinking Thursday. I'm your host, Chris Sauls. Definitely subscribe and like. That's one of the biggest things that right now I think for this podcast is getting subscribers and getting people that want to listen. Again, if you're listening to this, you see this. I've also got a newsletter coming out each week that's based around the Thinking Thursday principles. Take advantage of it. Subscribe to the podcast. If you're learning from it, share it with a friend. Let them know. I'm excited to do it every week. I'm going to continue to do it. I love sharing what's going on in life. I love to help others. I really want to make an impact in the lives of others because I believe we are all in this together. You have a wonderful 4th of July. Be safe out there. If you're shooting fireworks and doing those things, don't hold them in your hands when you light them. Get rid of them. Be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Talk to you guys next week.